The galaxy was quiet. Too quiet. For centuries, alien civilizations had looked down at Earth, a small blue and green in the vast darkness. Most had ignored it, thinking it harmless, insignificant. But something had changed. In the Grand Hall of the Galactic Council, representatives from thousands of worlds had gathered. Their ships hovered outside, massive and shining, reflecting the light of distant stars. The Council was debating a decision that could end life on one of the smallest planets in the galaxy. Earth must be eliminated, said Theric, the representative of the Krelf, his voice booming and echoing across the chamber. Their species is primitive, unorganized, and unworthy of survival. It will be a simple task. Several other council members nodded. They agreed. To them, Earth was just another rock, a small world that could be destroyed without consequence. But then, a subtle warning flickered on the council's holographic displays. A signal, simple, calm, almost too quiet to notice, was coming from Earth. Scanners detect an unusual transmission, said Lyria, the representative of the Vexus. It is a message, but it is unlike anything we have seen. The council murmured. Curiosity sparked, mixed with unease. Every species knew that human transmissions were supposed to be weak, meaningless. Yet this one felt different. The transmission began. At first, it was just a voice, steady, clear, and calm. To those who wish to harm our planet, it said, you are making a mistake. The council froze. No one expected words, especially words with such confidence. Who is speaking? Demanded Theric. Humans? How can a simple message make us hesitate? Lyria shook her head. It is not the words. It is something else. The energy behind it. It resonates in ways our sensors cannot fully measure. Outside Earth's atmosphere, a small human satellite transmitted the message. The humans themselves were unaware of its effect. They were calm, carrying on their daily lives, sending simple communications into space, never realizing their voices were being heard across the stars. The Galactic Council decided to continue. They had marked Earth for destruction, and a fleet of hundreds of ships was preparing to depart. They expected an easy conquest. Meanwhile, back on Earth, people went about their ordinary lives. Cities buzzed with traffic. Farmers tended to their fields. Children played in parks. Not a single human suspected that their planet was on the edge of annihilation. The alien scouts arrived first, moving silently through space toward Earth. They expected minimal resistance. Perhaps a small military, maybe some primitive weapons that would be easily destroyed. Their scanners confirmed their assumptions. Earth's defenses seemed weak, almost non-existent. Yet the transmission continued, repeating its simple words. Each time, it carried a subtle power that the aliens could feel but not understand. You are making a mistake. As the fleet approached, the council members monitored every movement. They prepared strategies, counting on superior technology and numbers. But something was changing in their minds. Doubt began to creep in. What is happening? Asked the Vex's commander. Our weapons are detecting irregularities. Something in the planet's field is interfering with our systems. Theric slammed his clawed hand on the console. Impossible. Earth is weak. This is a minor planet. There should be no interference. But the more they scanned, the stranger became. Their shields flickered. Their targeting systems misfired. Every attempt to communicate with each other's ships became delayed, scrambled, or strangely distorted. On Earth, in a quiet room in a small research facility, a scientist named Dr. Elena Merrick glanced at a monitor. We are picking up unusual solar emissions, she said to her team. But nothing that should be significant. Could be a glitch. The aliens did not realize that these glitches were linked to the very transmission that had sparked fear in Council. Humans had no intention of attacking, yet the simplicity of their message, their calm confidence, seemed to radiate a power no one could measure. The Council debated fiercely. Some members insisted on attacking immediately. Others, unnerved by the transmission, urged caution. This is absurd, shouted Theric. We cannot fear a species we barely understand. We are the Council. We decide who survives. But even as he spoke, the Council's confidence faltered. The transmission continued, repeating its calm warning. You are making a mistake. Suddenly, one of the alien scouts closest to Earth reported a strange occurrence. Shields, they are fluctuating. Our sensors cannot penetrate fully. It is as if the planet itself is alive. Lyria's eyes widened. It cannot be. No planet has this kind of energy. Humans, they are different. By now, the fleet was within striking distance. Alien admirals were preparing their commands, launching battle formations, activating their weapons. Yet their confidence had diminished. Fear replaced certainty. Back on Earth, people noticed nothing unusual. Birds flew, winds blew, and oceans lapped at the shores. Yet the galaxy's greatest fleets hovered above, ready to unleash destruction. The first shot was fired. A laser beam streaked across the void toward the planet. It was aimed at what the aliens thought was an undefended military base. And then, nothing happened. The beam dissipated harmlessly in space. Another shot fired. Same result. Impossible, yelled Derek. Our weapons, they fail. The council watched in disbelief. Every weapon, every strike, failed to hit its target. Systems malfunctioned. Communications went down. Ships collided. Chaos spread in the fleet. Earth is not what we expected, whispered Lyria. They are not just primitive humans. There is something here, something powerful. The calm human transmission continued, repeating its simple words. Each repetition seemed to pulse across the galaxy, growing stronger. You are making a mistake. Panic erupted. Alien fleets, trained for conquest, now hesitated. Fear replaced strategy. Doubt replaced certainty. Every council member felt it. An invisible force, unknown, unstoppable, radiating from a small planet they had dismissed. The Galactic Council called for an emergency session. We need to understand what is happening, said one voice. We cannot destroy this planet until we know the full extent of the threat. Theric roared in frustration. We will not be intimidated by words. Humans are just a species. They cannot hold this galaxy hostage. But the transmission continued, and with every word, more ships faltered, more admirals hesitated, more councils argued. On Earth, life continued as normal. No one noticed the fleets above. No one saw the strange failures in alien technology. Humanity remained calm, unaware that its simple message had begun to change the course of history. The Council was at a turning point. A decision that had seemed simple, eradicate Earth, was now in chaos. They were forced to ask questions they never thought they would need to ask. What was this energy? How could a species so small affect the galaxy? And most importantly, what would happen if they ignored the warning? You are making a mistake. The words echoed, calm and unyielding, across the council chamber, through the fleets, across space itself. The galaxy held its breath. No one knew what humans were capable of. No one could measure the power behind the calm warning. Yet, one thing was clear. Earth was no longer just a small planet. It was a force, unseen, unpredictable, and terrifying. The council realized something they had never considered. For the first time, they were not in control. A species they had dismissed as weak had forced them into uncertainty, into hesitation. And above Earth, the transmission continued, repeating its simple, haunting words. You are making a mistake. It was the beginning of a new chapter in galactic history, one that no species could ignore, one that would change the fate of the galaxy forever. The galaxy was in chaos. Alien fleets, once proud and confident, drifted aimlessly near Earth. Systems that were supposed to function flawlessly failed. Sensors misread everything. Communication scrambled. Leaders argued, shouted, and accused each other, but no solution appeared. All of it had begun with a simple human transmission. At first, it seemed harmless, a calm, steady voice carrying a warning. Yet its simplicity hid something unimaginable. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, the atmosphere was tense. Holoscreens flickered, showing the ships near Earth, some spinning out of control, some drifting silently in space. Representatives from different worlds whispered, fear replacing their usual arrogance. We have underestimated them, muttered Lyria, the Vex's representative. I do not know what they are, but this transmission, it affects everything. Theric slammed a clawed hand onto the console. It is just words. How can words destroy fleets? How can a small planet control such energy? We cannot allow fear to govern us. But even as he spoke, a new message came from Earth. The transmission had changed slightly. The voice, calm yet firm, spoke again. If you harm our world, you will regret it. You cannot imagine what awaits you. Every council member paused. Every fleet commander hesitated. A ripple of unease passed through the galaxy, like a storm wave. Outside, alien ships tried to adjust their weapons. Lasers recalibrated, missiles realigned. But each attempt failed. Even the most advanced ships were crippled by an invisible force. No one could explain it. In a small control room on Earth, Dr. Elena Merrick watched her monitors carefully. Her team was monitoring unusual solar and magnetic activity. "Something strange is happening," she whispered. "Energy readings, they are higher than expected. But it's not dangerous, at least not to us." She had no idea that the signals her lab equipment detected were connected to the alien fleets above. Her simple experiments, intended for routine research, had somehow amplified across space. The transmission continued. Each repetition carried more weight, more force. It was as if the voice itself commanded attention, bending not just the minds but the machines of the galaxy. Alien scientists tried to analyze it, but every measurement contradicted the last. "It is impossible," one muttered. "It defies every law we know. The energy, the resonance, it is alive." At this moment, the first panic spread among the alien ranks. Ships that had been leading attacks suddenly veered off course. Squadrons collided. Some destroyed each other unintentionally. The transmission seemed to anticipate every move, reacting in ways no one could predict. Inside the council chamber, chaos reigned. "We must attack immediately," shouted one general. "Delay could be catastrophic." "No," said another. "We cannot. Every strike fails. Every weapon malfunctions. It is as if the planet itself is protecting them." Theric's fury was unmatched. "Enough," he bellowed. "We will not let these humans intimidate us. We are the council. We decide who survives." But words had lost their power. The humans, with nothing but a voice, had already taken control. Above Earth, the alien fleets experienced a terrifying phenomenon. The largest ship, a battlecruiser of unimaginable size, fired its main cannon at the planet. A beam of brilliant energy leapt toward Earth, but before it could reach the surface, it shattered mid-space. The beam exploded in a silent flare, harmlessly dissipating in the void. A ripple of disbelief swept through the ranks. What is happening?" gasped the commander. "Our weapons, they are useless." The transmission repeated again. "You are making a mistake." Every alien ship felt it. It was not just a message now. It was a force, a presence that could not be measured, contained, or ignored. Even the largest and most powerful fleets began to withdraw, unsure of what to do next. On Earth, life continued normally. In the streets of New York, in the forests of Siberia, in the desert of Africa, humans went about their ordinary routines. Children played in parks, unaware of the fleets above. Scientists like Dr. Merrick monitored their instruments. Farmers planted crops. No one realized that the calm voices being transmitted into space had changed the fate of the galaxy. The Galactic Council attempted to analyze the human species. Reports poured in from scouts, sensors, and spies. Humans were small, fragile, and seemingly unarmed. Their technology on the surface appeared primitive compared to fleets hovering above them. Yet the transmission continued, calm and unyielding, carrying an invisible power that no alien could resist. "Stop. Do not proceed. You will regret it." Each word echoed through space like a tolling bell. Commanders who had once ordered attacks now hesitated. Scientists who had once calculated probabilities now found their data meaningless. Leaders who had once felt secure now trembled before a voice they did not understand. Within the council chamber, panic reached a peak. "We need answers," shouted a representative. "We cannot risk the entire fleet on guesses." "We cannot attack," whispered Lyria. "We do not know what we are dealing with. It is something beyond comprehension." Meanwhile, a human listening post in the Pacific recorded the transmission being repeated across deep space frequencies. Dr. Merrick and her team noticed the patterns. "It's repeating, but the energy levels are spiking," she said. We don't know why. It's almost alive. Above, alien fleets scrambled. Ships that had once been instruments of war now floated helpless, systems failing one by one. Communications jammed. Weapons went cold. Even navigation systems faltered. What was supposed to be a swift attack on a primitive planet had become a disaster. In the council chamber, Theric raged. This is impossible. No species can do this. We must destroy them now before they gain more power. Lyria shook her head. It is already too late. They have power we cannot measure. Even now they control the outcome. At that moment, a new transmission came from Earth. The voice was calm but filled with authority. You have chosen to attack a species you do not understand. Cease now or face consequences beyond your imagination. Every alien felt it, not as a threat, but as a certainty. Even the bravest warriors shivered. Systems that had been reliable for centuries failed simultaneously. Fleets that had once inspired fear now inspired terror. And yet, on Earth, nothing had changed. People walked, talked, and lived their lives. Not a single human realized that their simple words had altered the balance of power in the galaxy. The Council had no choice. They were forced to halt all attacks, retreat fleets, and convene an emergency session. Panic and confusion ruled every decision. Every member understood one thing clearly. Humans were no longer a species to underestimate. You have underestimated them, whispered Lyria. And now, the galaxy will pay attention. We do not know what they are capable of, but we will learn. Above, alien ships hovered silently. The transmission continued. Calm, firm, unyielding. You are making a mistake. The words repeated again and again, echoing across space, reaching every corner of the galaxy. A simple human voice had brought fleets to their knees, shattered confidence, and changed the future of every species. In the council chamber, silence fell. The representatives realized that their arrogance had blinded them. What they had called a primitive species was now a force unlike any they had encountered. Fear replaced certainty, and caution replaced aggression. On Earth, the sun rose and set as usual. Life went on, oblivious to the power above. But across the galaxy, one truth became undeniable. Humans were not what they seemed. The Galactic Council had learned its first lesson, and it would not be forgotten. A species dismissed as weak had, with nothing but a voice, challenged the strongest fleets in the galaxy. And they had won. The human transmission continued. Calm, repeating the same words over and over. Words that carried not threats, but the undeniable certainty of power. You are making a mistake. It was a warning, a signal, and a promise. The galaxy waited, trembling, as the human's true power remained a mystery, waiting to reveal itself when the time was right. And above all, the Council knew one terrifying truth. The humans had only just begun. The alien fleets hovered silently near Earth, their massive forms casting long shadows across the planet's orbit. The Council had ordered caution, but caution had only delayed the inevitable. The humans had sent their warnings, and yet the aliens needed answers. They needed to see the planet. Above Earth, a fleet of hundreds of ships prepared for their first real approach. Their sensors scanned every inch of the planet's surface, looking for defenses, weapons, anything that could threaten them. From orbit, Earth appeared peaceful. Cities glittered under sunlight. Oceans reflected the sky. Forests swayed with the wind. Not a single sign of war. This is absurd, said Commander Zelric of the Krelth. We have the largest fleet in known space, and yet we hesitate. Why? It is not fear, replied his deputy. It is the anticipation. The transmission. Every time we approach, every system reacts. Our weapons misfire. Our shields fluctuate. Something is wrong. Zelric growled, frustration rolling off him like steam. Wrong? This is a human planet. Primitive, small, defenseless. We have nothing to fear. Prepare the first strike. At that moment, another report came in. Alien ships closest to Earth were experiencing unexplainable energy surges. Engines flared, shields sparked, and communications between ships became garbled. "Pull back!" shouted one pilot, panic creeping into his voice. Systems failing. Something is interfering. Zelric slammed his claw onto the console. "No. Advance. We will not let them intimidate us with words. But the more the fleet advanced, the stranger things became. One ship, a massive cruiser, fired its energy cannons at what they assumed was a human military facility. The beam streaked toward the city, but instead of hitting its target, it dissipated midair as if swallowed by an invisible wall. "What is happening?" gasped the crew. "Our weapons, they won't work." A calm voice, faint but clear, echoed through every ship's communication system. It was a human transmission, repeating the same chilling words. "You are making a mistake." The words resonated through the metal hulls of every vessel, vibrating through circuits, shaking confidence. The fleet faltered, ships slowed, weapons cooled. Even the largest battleships seemed unsure of themselves. On Earth, life continued normally. A child laughed as she chased a butterfly in a park. A fisherman cast his net into the ocean. Dr. Elena Merrick stared at her monitors, unaware that above her, hundreds of ships were being paralyzed by the simplest words she had helped amplify. The alien fleets tried again. Lasers fired, missiles launched, and even advanced energy waves were deployed, but every attack failed. Beams scattered in random directions. Explosives misfired. Engines cut out. Ships collided with each other. Chaos spread. The first real contact was meant to be a demonstration of power. Instead, it became a display of helplessness. Humans had not moved a finger. Not a single weapon had fired. Not a single soldier appeared. And yet, the alien fleets were crumbling from within. In the council chamber, panic was mounting. "This is impossible," roared Theric. "A single planet, a species we dismiss, they are controlling our fleets." Lyria shook her head. "Not controlling. They are defending, but not with weapons, not with ships, with something we cannot measure. It is as if the planet itself is alive." Zelric watched in disbelief as his cruiser spun out of formation. "It cannot be," he shouted. "We are the strongest in known space. We have conquered worlds thousands of times larger than this." But his words rang hollow. The humans had not even been noticed yet, and already the alien confidence was shattered. Suddenly, one of the smaller alien ships approached the atmosphere, scanning for life signs. On the surface, it detected nothing unusual. Cities, forests, oceans. Primitive humans go about their lives. The aliens expected to see panic, resistance, something, but there was nothing. "They are calm," whispered the alien pilot. "Completely calm." "Calm," growled Zelric. "Calm? How is this possible? Any species would be terrified to face us." At that moment, the calm human transmission shifted slightly. A new message played, calm but filled with authority. "Do not proceed. Any aggression toward our world will be met with consequences you cannot imagine." The fleets shivered at the words. Even the bravest commanders felt it. Not fear exactly, but a deep, undeniable certainty. The humans were not bluffing. Zelric's voice trembled, anger mixing with fear. "We must attack. Show them the strength of the Council." But every attempt to strike failed again. Alien beams fizzled. Missiles disappeared mid-flight. Systems malfunctioned in unpredictable ways. The humans had not fired a shot. Not a single weapon had been deployed. And yet, the fleet was crippled. Outside the planet, something else began to happen. Energy patterns radiated from Earth's core, subtle, invisible, yet impossible to ignore. Alien ships detected anomalies in space-time, fluctuations in gravitational fields, distortions in electromagnetic readings. Every measurement contradicted the last. "This is impossible," muttered a Crow scientist. "The planet, it is alive?" "No," whispered Lyria. "Not alive in the way we understand. But the energy, it is intelligent. It reacts. It anticipates. It defends." The aliens had expected a battle. They had expected weapons, strategies, a physical confrontation. But humans did not fight in ways they understood. Their planet itself became a shield, their words a weapon, and their presence a threat that no fleet could ignore. Zelric's flagship attempted a last effort. It launched every weapon simultaneously. Energy beams, missiles, plasma waves, all fired at once, aimed at multiple targets across the planet. And once again, nothing happened. Beams scattered, Missiles evaporated. Energy waves bent away as if redirected by an invisible hand. The calm human transmission echoed again, repeating its chilling words. You are making a mistake. For the first time, the alien commanders considered retreat. To continue the attack could mean total annihilation, not by humans themselves, but by forces they could not understand. Above the planet, alien ships hesitated. Some drifted backward. Others hovered uncertainly. The fleet's formation, once a symbol of strength, had become a chaos of confusion. On Earth, people continued their lives, unaware of the cosmic drama unfolding above. Children laughed, markets bustled, oceans crashed on shores. No human had fired a shot. Yet above, alien ships were trembling, systems failing, fleets retreating. In the council chamber, panic and argument reached a peak. We must negotiate, shouted one representative. We cannot fight them. We do not understand them. Theric's face darkened with fury. Negotiate? With primitives? No. We are the council. We decide who lives. But even he knew in the back of his mind that something had shifted. The humans, with their simple transmissions and calm presence, had changed the galaxy's balance of power. They were no longer just a planet. They were a force. A power no one could measure, no one could fight, and no one could ignore. Suddenly, a new transmission arrived, calm, deliberate, and terrifying in its simplicity. Leave our world. Do not test us. Your fleets will not survive your aggression. Every alien fleet felt the weight of the words. Systems failed more rapidly. Engines faltered. Communications dropped. Even the most experienced commanders hesitated to give orders. Zelric took a deep breath. Try and maintain control. Fall back. All ships withdraw to safe distance. For the first time in history, the strongest fleets in the galaxy obeyed a species they had dismissed as weak. They retreated, scattered, and paused, trying to comprehend what had just happened. The humans had not moved a finger. Not a single laser fired. Not a single soldier appeared. And yet, the first contact was complete. The aliens had learned a terrifying truth. Humans were not what they seemed. On Earth, the sun rose and set as usual. Birds flew, oceans lapped, and life continued normally. Humanity remained unaware that it had just survived the galaxy's strongest fleets without firing a single shot. The Council realized a new reality. Humans were unpredictable, powerful, and intelligent beyond any expectation. The first contact had been made, and the message was clear. Earth was no longer a planet to be taken lightly. You are making a mistake. The words repeated in every corner of the galaxy, calm, firm, and unyielding. And for the first time, the Council and every alien race knew that the humans had only begun to reveal their true strength. The stage was set. The next moves would determine the future of the galaxy. And humans, with nothing but a voice and a planet behind them, had already won the first battle. The galaxy was silent. Not the calm silence of peace, but the tense, uneasy silence of disbelief. Alien fleets had withdrawn from Earth, drifting back to distant corners of space, unable to comprehend what had just happened. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, panic lingered like a heavy fog. Representatives whispered among themselves, eyes darting nervously at the holoscreens displaying Earth's orbit. No one wanted to speak first. No one knew what to say. Lyria broke the silence. We have observed something unprecedented. Their planet is not just defending itself. It is alive in some sense. Every system we sent was affected. Every weapon failed. Our ships could not function properly near them. Theric slammed his clawed hand on the table. Alive? Do not speak nonsense. This is a primitive world. No species has the ability to control fleets without weapons. But they did. Lyria insisted, her voice calm but firm. We have confirmation. Every fleet, every strike, every system, compromise in ways beyond our understanding. It is not just a transmission. It is the planet, the humans, and something else. Something intelligent. Reports poured in from every fleet that had engaged with Earth. Sensors had recorded strange energy patterns emanating from the planet's core. Waves of electromagnetic, gravitational, and quantum anomalies. Nothing the Council had studied could explain it. A Vexa scientist leaned forward, his translucent fingers tapping nervously on the console. The readings are inconsistent. If we attempt to measure the energy, the instruments fail. It adapts. It resists. It responds. It is reactive intelligence on a planetary scale. The council fell silent again. Even Theric, brimming with arrogance just hours ago, was speechless. The humans had not fired a single weapon, yet the council's most advanced fleets had been rendered helpless. Outside the chamber, scouts reported something even stranger. Alien ships that had drifted too close to Earth's atmosphere detected fluctuations in time-space itself. Beams of energy bent unexpectedly. Sensors returned conflicting coordinates, and matter appeared to behave differently near the planet. "What is this?" muttered one Krelth engineer. "We cannot calculate trajectories. Our ships cannot function normally. This planet, it does not obey the laws we know." "Not obey," Lyria whispered. "Perhaps it does not need to. Perhaps humans, they have learned to harness something the galaxy has never seen." Across the council, murmurs turned into debates. Could a species so small, so apparently weak, possess power beyond comprehension? Was it possible that humans had evolved, or discovered, something no one else had? Meanwhile, back on Earth, Dr. Elena Merrick continued her routine monitoring. She had noticed fluctuations in solar energy and magnetic fields, but assumed they were anomalies. She did not realize these patterns were amplified across space, disrupting alien fleets. Humans had not intended to fight, yet their planet itself had become a shield. The council convened a special session. "We cannot ignore this," said a Vex's diplomat. "We must investigate. We cannot fight what we do not understand. And if humans truly possess such power, we are vulnerable." Theric growled, pacing the chamber. "Investigate? We are the council. We are the strongest in the galaxy. No species should intimidate us." "Yet they have," Lyria replied softly. "We have seen it firsthand. Humans did not attack. They only transmitted a message, and that message altered the behavior of our fleets. Our weapons, our ships, their simple words paralyzed the strongest forces in known space. Outside, alien fleets hovered at the edge of the system, reluctant to approach. Even exploratory probes had failed. Attempts to scan Earth's surface returned distorted images, scrambled data, and incomprehensible readings. "This is impossible," said a scientist. "The energy is not just on the surface. It comes from the planet's core. It moves through space. It reacts to intent. It defends." The council realized a frightening truth. The humans had weaponized not just technology, but something fundamental, something tied to their planet and their consciousness. "Do we send ambassadors?" asked one representative. "Do we attempt communication?" "No," said Lyria. "Not yet. We cannot risk it. They are unpredictable. They have proven that even a simple message can immobilize fleets. Any misstep could provoke retaliation, one we cannot survive." Meanwhile, the humans themselves were unaware of the scale of their power. Cities bustled. Oceans lapped. Winds whispered across mountains. Humans lived ordinary lives, while their planet's natural energy, coupled with their transmissions, protected them from annihilation. Inside a research facility, Dr. Merrick noticed something strange. Instruments that had been recording anomalies suddenly stabilized. The energy levels seemed to wear. They responded to her adjustments, almost as if recognizing her presence. She whispered, more to herself than anyone else, "It's like it knows what I intend, like it understands me." Across the galaxy, alien fleets debated their next move. Some advocated retreat. Others demanded action. Fear and awe battled within every leader's mind. No one could deny the humans' power, yet none fully understood it. In the council chamber, Lyria stood. "We must acknowledge a new reality. Humans are not just another species. They are something beyond our comprehension. They can manipulate energy, matter, and perhaps even space itself in ways we cannot measure. Our fleets, our technology, they are ineffective against them, and their intentions unknown." Theric's jaw tightened. "Unknown? We will find their weakness. Every species has one. Humans must have one. Perhaps," Lyria said quietly, "but we do not yet know it. And every time we try to strike, every attempt to attack, we fail. They do not need weapons. They do not need fleets. They only need to exist. A sudden alert flashed across the chamber's holoscreen. Alien reconnaissance had detected a new transmission from Earth. Calm, deliberate, terrifying in its simplicity. Do not attempt to harm us. Your aggression will not succeed. You are making a mistake. The council members recoiled. Every system, every ship, every fleet in the galaxy trembled at the repetition of the words. Even the most hardened generals understood. The humans had not revealed their full strength. They had only hinted at it. Outside Earth, energy waves pulsed invisibly across space. Alien ships tried to measure them, but instruments failed. Navigation systems scrambled. Shields flickered. Engines faltered. And yet, no human had fired a shot. No soldier had appeared. No weapon had been deployed. The planet itself, combined with human presence and intention, had created a defense mechanism unlike anything the galaxy had ever encountered. In a quiet room on Earth, Dr. Merrick stared at the monitors, sensing only anomalies, unaware that the anomalies were already altering galactic history. Her instruments hummed, pulsing gently, almost like a heartbeat. "This cannot be explained," she murmured. "It's alive, somehow, but it's not dangerous, at least not to us." The council convened a final vote. Should they risk another engagement with Earth? Or should they attempt diplomacy, try and understand what they had encountered? Retreat, Lyria advised. Observe, study, learn. Do not provoke them. They are far beyond what we can handle without caution. Theric clenched his fists. He hated to admit it, but he knew she was right. Humans were not just dangerous. They were unpredictable. And unpredictability on a galactic scale was a threat unlike any other. The first revelation was complete. The Council now understood that humans had power beyond comprehension, a power that could not be measured, fought, or predicted. And that power came not from weapons or fleets, but from their planet itself and the mysterious force that flowed through it. Across the galaxy, fleets retreated, minds reeled, and the legend of humans began to take shape. No species had ever encountered a civilization so small, yet so powerful. And no species would ever forget the lesson Earth had taught them. On Earth, life went on, oblivious of chaos above. The sun rose, birds sang, and oceans lapped gently at shores. Humans lived as if nothing had changed, while their planet's hidden strength had altered the balance of power in the galaxy. The transmission continued, calm and unyielding, repeating its chilling words. "You are making a mistake." And for the first time, the galaxy understood a terrifying truth. Humans were not just a species. They were an event, a force, a revelation that could change the future of every civilization in existence. The revelation had begun, and the true story of humanity's power had only just started to unfold. The galaxy waited. Every fleet, every council chamber, every species held its breath. Humans had revealed just enough power to force retreat, yet they had not even begun to show their full potential. Alien leaders debated, argued, and planned, but none dared approach Earth again. The calm human transmissions continued, repeating the same words that had become a legend across space. "You are making a mistake." Even the strongest species, the ones that had conquered countless worlds, felt the weight of those words. They could not measure the humans, could not predict them, and could not control them. On Earth, life continued as normal. Cities bustled, oceans glimmered, forests swayed. People went to work, children played, and birds flew through blue skies. No one noticed the fleets that had hovered near their atmosphere, paralyzed by something humans barely understood themselves. But some humans did notice. Dr. Elena Merrick, in her small laboratory, stared at her instruments in disbelief. The energy readings were incredible. Waves of power emanated from the planet, amplified by something she could not explain. The transmissions, the anomalies, the planet itself, they were connected, and it was responding. "This is alive," she whispered. "It's responding to us. It's protecting us." Above Earth, alien fleets began to move again, but cautiously. They tested the waters, sending probes and small ships to study the planet. Every attempt met the same result. Their ships faltered, weapons failed, and transmissions returned garbled. Humans did not attack. They did not need to. Their presence, their planet, their calm defiance. Everything combined into a force stronger than any fleet in the galaxy. The Galactic Council convened again, trembling with unease. "We cannot fight them," admitted one representative. "They are beyond our comprehension. We need answers, and we need them now." Theric growled, pacing the chamber. "We cannot allow a primitive species to intimidate the galaxy. We must strike. Show them the strength of the Council." Lyria shook her head. "Strike? You have already seen what happens when you strike. They do not need weapons. They do not need fleets. They only need to exist. And every attempt to challenge them will fail." A new transmission arrived, calm, deliberate, and chilling in its simplicity. "Do not test us. Your aggression will not succeed." Every fleet paused. Every ship shivered. Every council member felt the weight of those words. The humans were not bluffing. They had already demonstrated that they could defend themselves without firing a single shot. And now, for the first time, humans decided to make their presence known. In orbit above Earth, alien fleets saw it first as a shimmer in space, a subtle distortion, almost like heat waves rising from a desert. Then, the distortion became more defined. A massive human vessel appeared, unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. It was enormous, sleek, and pulsing with energy. It did not resemble any known military craft. Its surface shimmered as if alive, reflecting starlight like molten metal. Alien commanders gasped. "Impossible," whispered one. "Did they build a ship of that size without us knowing?" But size was not the frightening part. The energy radiating from the vessel was unlike anything in known space. It bent light, distorted sensors, and caused weapons to malfunction even before they were fired. The humans had not attacked yet, but the presence of the ship alone caused alien fleets to hesitate. On Earth, Dr. Merrick watched the readings rise. "It's controlling the field," she said. "It's amplifying the energy from the planet. It's alive, and it's ready." The council debated again. Some argued to retreat completely. Others demanded action, to test humans one last time. But hesitation was all they could manage. Every attempt to give orders failed. Every system faltered. The humans had created a psychological and technological hold over the galaxy without firing a shot. Then the humans spoke, again, not through weapons, but through transmissions. "You cannot harm us. Any aggression will be met with consequences. You cannot survive." It was simple, calm, and terrifying. Alien fleets felt it not as a threat, but as a certainty. Every sensor, every weapon, every ship experienced failure. Every fleet commander hesitated. Some ships even turned away, unable to comprehend how a species so small could exert such control. The first real human fleet began to move, not aggressively, but deliberately. Ships radiated energy that disrupted alien systems. Invisible waves spread across space, bending beams, jamming communications, and causing engines to falter. Humans had learned to control space itself, not just technology. Zelric, the Krelth commander, watched in horror. They are controlling the battlefield without fighting." "Yes," whispered a Vex's diplomat. "They are not attacking. They are demonstrating power, and we cannot resist." Alien weapons fired again. Beams streaked toward human ships. Missiles launched. Energy waves collided. Every strike failed. Weapons backfired. Systems overheated. Ships drifted helplessly. The humans had turned the entire battlefield into a trap the aliens could not see, could not measure, and could not escape. In the council chamber, silence fell. No one dared speak. Every species realized the same truth. Humanity was no longer just a planet to be conquered. Humans were a force beyond understanding, and their warning had been real. On Earth, humans had not even left their cities. Yet their presence, combined with the planet and their technology, had altered the galaxy. The transmission repeated one last time, calm and resolute. "You are making a mistake." Alien fleets began to retreat in disorder. Confusion and fear spread across the galaxy. The strongest species had been humbled by a single planet, and they had done it without firing a shot. Dr. Merrick watched the readings slowly stabilize. She did not fully understand what had happened, but she felt it. Earth had defended itself. Humans had made their stand, and the galaxy would never forget it. The council realized another truth. Diplomacy would be impossible. Any attempt to negotiate could fail, and any attempt to attack would be catastrophic. Humans had redefined the rules of engagement. They had shown that power was not just weapons, ships, or numbers. It was control, intelligence, and the will to protect their world. Above Earth, the human fleet hovered calmly, silent, pulsing with energy. It had shown its presence. It had demonstrated power, and it had warned the galaxy in a way no one could ignore. The stage was set for a new era. The humans had claimed their place, not with aggression, but with dominance of a kind the galaxy had never seen. The strongest fleets, the most cunning leaders, even the council itself, all had learned the humans were unpredictable, unstoppable, and not to be underestimated. And yet, Earth remained calm. Life continued as normal. The oceans lapped, winds whispered through trees, and people went about their lives, oblivious to the chaos their planet had caused across the stars. The human transmission continued, echoing across the galaxy. You are making a mistake. It was more than a warning. It was a statement, a lesson, a promise. Humanity had stood, and the galaxy had learned, once and for all, that Earth was not just another planet. It was the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter no species could ignore. And above all, one truth remained clear. The humans had only just begun. Their stand was not an end. It was a revelation. And the galaxy would never be the same again.